Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Martha Ayala, and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. As a reminder, I do every video in English and Spanish, and the degree theory is based on modern Western astrology using the Placidus house system. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury or any planet, let's say, that goes retrograde, from the Earth's perspective, it looks like it's going forward, but then it stops and then it goes backwards. It goes retrograde. Now, that's not really what happens. The planet is going forward from our viewpoint. It stations or it stops. In this case, it's going to stop at 23 degrees of Sagittarius and then is going to go backwards or retrograde. Now, again, the planet doesn't really go backwards, but it looks from Earth's perspective that it is going backwards. So when it stops going retrograde, it stations and then it goes direct, and it will do that at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. This Mercury retrograde, however, is actually going to be nice because the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury, and that is called a mutual reception. The sign of detriment for Jupiter is Gemini. The sign of detriment for Mercury is Sagittarius. But since they're in each other's lords, let's say, then it's a good thing, right? It's a nice thing. They're actually powerful. Now, the only little glitch is that they're both squaring Saturn. That's the only thing that, we could need to tweak it a little bit. And it's going to end in a nice sextile. This retrograde is going to end in a nice sextile, actually a trine, I'm sorry, trine from Sag to Leo, but that's at the end of the retrograde on December 15th. So, like I said, if you have any planets plus or minus 3 degrees of Sag 23 degrees or Sag 6 degrees, pay careful attention to, to which planet it is. For Gemini, it's going to be the opposition, right? Because we have here Mercury is retrograde there, and Gemini's here. So you guys, Geminis, are going to have to make a decision. That's what it comes to. For Sag, any planets there, they're going to be conjunct. So it depends on the planet that it's conjuncting. For Pisces and Virgo, then you guys are the ones that are going to have challenges that you need to overcome. For the conjunction, it depends on the planet. So if your Jupiter is natally in Sagittarius, then Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter. So this is great. You can get a business deal that previously didn't go through. You can get a call from, if it's Venus, let's say you can get a call from an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't know how happy you're going to be about that, but anyway, that's something that can happen. Or again, Jupiter, you can have maybe a long distance trip that you were planning and it didn't go through, or maybe you did go to that place and now you're planning to go again, because retrogrades are a period to review, redo, rethink, resubmit, right? In a conjunction with Mars, Saturn, or Pluto, then it's a different story. When Mars is conjunct Mercury, the way you speak can be very assertive, aggressive, or at least it can be perceived that way, right? Because you're going to be very blunt. If you have Mercury conjunct Saturn, then the communication can be a little bit stern, a little bit authoritarian or serious. You can also be careful with your thoughts because Mercury is your thoughts. It's not only your communication, it rules the third house, the mind. So, your thoughts can turn a little bit sad. You can be, a little dark in the way you think. So be careful there. If Mercury is conjoined Pluto in Sag, then maybe the way you are going to communicate during this period um, can be a little bit forceful. So again, watch your words. Or, you could be doing some research. You can become a little detective, Mercury conjoin Pluto. There are some dates that I wrote down that I want you guys to pay special attention to. December 4th, Mercury is going to oppose Jupiter at 16 degrees. So this can mean that you're going to have a lot of ideas, a lot of opportunities can come through, right? On December 5th, Mercury conjoins the Sun at 14 degrees, and this is great for communication. This is like the best aspect. And there's a lot of mental energy going on, and this happens at 14 degrees. On December 6th, Mercury squares Saturn at 13 degrees. So here, communication needs to be structured, disciplined. Not a great day to speak with somebody in your authority, like your boss, your parents, or don't challenge their ideas on this date at all. Uh, Especially here, December 6th, be careful with dark thoughts, pessimistic ideas, talking yourself down. Not good. This is what's causing it. On December 13th, you have Mercury sextiling Venus in Aquarius, so at 7 degrees. So there's an opportunity with love or business. So the retrogrades have been, over the summer we had Leo, now we have Sag, and in spring of 2025, we're going to have Mercury retrograde in Aries. So this can bring a lot of motivation, initiation, drive, passion, enthusiasm for things. So this, like I said, is great. I think it's going to be a very nice time. Now, what does Sag rule? Sag rules foreigners, foreign countries, university, judges, highways, main streets, horses, tennis, film, religion, tourism, borders. So what can we see in these with this Mercury going retrograde? Remember, it's in Sagittarius. So we can see laws based on immigrants or immigrations or people being deported with these laws, or at least they're talking about deporting immigrants or immigration policies. All this subject can be revisited, right? We can revisit borders, the issues with the borders, um, the crossing, of the immigrants. And it's not just for the United States, it's, on a mundane level. Or there could be talks about maybe redrawing borders, like with Ukraine and Russia. Maybe they redesign Ukraine's borders. We'll see what happens there. Or if you here in the United States, if you are a junior in high school, you may be visiting the colleges or universities that you will plan to attend next fall. So you could actually be going back to narrow down your list of universities. So what does Mercury retrograde mean? It means that you need to be careful with the way you communicate, with the way you write. It means to learn, to study, anything with documents, paperwork, passports, driver's license, messages, religion because it's in Sag, foreign languages because it's also in Sag, short and long distance travel, because remember the mutual reception. Um, and people are going to be asking a lot of questions. That's just the nature of the beast because of the mutual reception. Now, the square to Saturn, what does this mean? Remember, Saturn rules time, so you need to take your time. So you need to use discipline, structure, be practical, use practical ways, choose your words carefully, be concise, precise, get to the point. Don't write 4-page emails to discuss something. Just have somebody reread it before you send the email if it's like work related, or um, just to make sure that what you are trying to say is what comes, right? What people receive in the message. Now, with the aspect to Jupiter, when Saturn and Jupiter are in square, you need to have realistic dreams. That's basically what it is. So let's go through the 12 ascendants. For Aries rising, for Aries, this Mercury retrograde happens in your ninth house. So for you, it could be reviewing your studies, reconnecting with university friends, reconnecting with university professors, reviewing legal documents, especially immigration. Ninth house rules immigration. Planning a long distance trip, or just make sure that the trip doesn't start or end when Mercury is stationing, because that's when a lot of the airline cancellations, delays and stuff like that happen. Otherwise, you're good to go. Although I am a traditional astrologer in the sense that I don't like to buy any electronics, computer, cell phones, appliances, sign any leases or buy any property or anything, no contracts to be signed. But if you have to do it, then avoid the days where Mercury is stationing. Those the beginning and the end, that's when a lot of issues come up. So if you have to do that because the landlord's telling you to move and you have to get a new lease somewhere else and you have to sign, try not to do it during the stationing period. If you have to buy a new phone, a new computer, whatever, maybe get an extended warranty. So that kind of thing. There's always a solution to pretty much everything. All right, for Taurus, this happens in your eighth house. So what are you doing? You might want to be reviewing investments and reviewing retirement plans. Anything related to money, your partner's money, loans. If you're going to take out any loans, like to buy a house or something like that, make sure that all of the numbers, Mercury rules numbers, are correct. And you don't get stuck with a higher payment. Review them because they will have errors. For Gemini, the Mercury retrograde happens in your seventh house. So I hope that you're not getting married during this time. But if you are, just know that the communication during your marriage might be, um, you need to work at it. Let's put it that way. You need to make sure that what you're telling your spouse that they understand, and just have them repeat what you said, right? So that to make sure that they understand, and then, you're okay. You might be getting communication from an ex business partner. That can also be the case because seventh house rules, marriage, business associate, even long-term friends that you've had since like grade school. For Cancer, this Mercury retrograde happens in your sixth house. So sixth house is everything about daily routines, work, health. Maybe at work you need to resubmit a work project that your boss gave back to you to retweak the numbers. So make sure that that Excel spreadsheet, all the calculations, all the cells do add up and divide and whatever. Just make sure that all the numbers are correct. If you're going to be writing emails for work, especially to your boss, reread them, review them, no spelling mistakes, make them concise, precise, and to the point. There's no need to remember the square to Saturn. You need to make sure that you get the message across, but in a concise way. For Leo, this Mercury retrograde happens in your fifth house. So maybe you're going to go on vacation to a place that you already went and you're going to revisit the place. Or maybe you get some communication from an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. For Virgo, this Mercury retrograde in Sag happens in your fourth house. So if you are signing any papers, remember that this is a square. Okay, so you need to pay attention. If you are signing any papers related to buying a house or an apartment or leasing or a remodel, anything having to do with a property, then you need to make sure that all of the information is there. And also everything that they promised to get you into that new apartment rental, that it's in black and white, that it is on the contract. And just review it and you should be good to go. With Libra, this Mercury retrograde happens in your third house. So you, Libra, specifically, you need to revisit all those ideas that you have and opportunities that can come up and just narrow them down because there's a lot, remember it's opposite to Jupiter, right? So there's a lot of opportunities that can be resurfacing. Make sure to review any emails because it's third house or messages, communication. And again, make it precise, concise, and to the with Scorpio, this Mercury retrograde happens in your second house. So you might get a call from an ex-boss, somebody or an ex-coworker of yours, or maybe you're revisiting ideas on how to make extra money, or you go back to that part-time that you had because they're calling you back. With Sag, this happens in your first house. So specifically you have Mercury retrograde. People are not going to understand a lot of the things that you're going to be telling them. So make sure that your communication is clear. Have the person repeat back what you said to make sure that they understand and that you get what you want from them or what you need from them. So you are clear on any, communication, either speaking, writing, and you're good to go. Now, for Capricorn, this Mercury retrograde happens in your 12th house. So are you planning a long distance trip to a really far, far, far away country? Okay. Are you planning on going back? Just remember that don't travel close to the dates of stationing. That's a no-no because that's when the flights get canceled or you have to be rerouted, there are delays, etc. You can also be revisiting the way your spiritual practices. Maybe you want to restart meditation or restart yoga or restart a spiritual practice. For Aquarius, this is nice. For Aquarius, this is nice because you have Mercury retrograde in the 11th house, and it's maybe you get calls from old friends that you haven't heard about or heard from in a long time. Or maybe you want to revisit your goals, your dreams, and make them a little bit more realistic, right? The square to Saturn. That's what it means. Now, for Pisces, remember that this is a square. So Mercury is squaring, any planets that you have in Pisces. So for Pisces, you may get a call or an email or communication from an old boss, 10th house, from a previous coworker, or maybe you're thinking about going back to a previous job. Maybe you retired and then you're saying, "Oh my God, I'm bored at home. I need to go back and maybe get a part-time in the same place that you were working." So also maybe you get an assignment back because wasn't approved, and then you need to retweak the numbers. So again, make sure that any changes, any of those Excel spreadsheets add up, any emails that you send to higher ups, because it's 10th house, that it's correct, that it's concise, precise, and to the point. No 4-page emails to um you know analyze or describe or whatever. Make it really, really tight. Okay. And as I said before, this Mercury retrograde ends with a trine, actually, with a trine to Mars in Leo at 6 degrees. And then of course Mars goes retrograde. So which I did a video on that. So you might want to listen to that too. Anyway, so basically, I think that this Mercury retrograde will be nice. I don't anticipate any major upheavals. So if you've learned something or have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and send the video to someone else who might benefit from this information. If you would like a reading with me, please send me an email to amaastrology@aol.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.